This is the Flavor of Leadership podcast. I am your host, Clint Hoops. Together, we explore the unique blend of leadership wisdom that helps top leaders consistently achieve work goals, develop personally, and find fulfillment with family. Let's get started. This is episode number 47. Most of us likely travel for work, at least on occasion. Perhaps we're attending a seminar or some sort of a training, or maybe we are even the ones providing the trainings. Maybe you're attending some meetings or a networking event of some sort, or maybe you're just providing support for another office or for some other reason. And it can be fun on occasion to travel, but it can also throw off our balance in life if we're not intentional. Right now, I'm actually traveling for work, and it seems that every time I travel, I just can't help but miss my dear wife and kids, even if I'm just going for a night or two. And right now, once again, I'm traveling, and I was able to see my kids on FaceTime just a few minutes ago, and it just makes me so grateful for them. It also makes me even more grateful for my wonderful wife that puts up with all the craziness that 6 kids in the house can cause without another parent there to help. But she is truly amazing. As I sit here in this hotel room recording this episode, I've just been thinking about my family, like I said. But today I was also thinking about just my entire life outside of work. My family's a big part of that. But there are other parts to my life as well. After all, work really is the thing that's supposed to help support our entire life, right? So our family, our hobbies, perhaps church service or volunteer service or something else that you enjoy doing in life. It can help support all of those things. Even though sometimes in life it becomes the way that we define ourselves. Even outside of work hours, we often define ourselves by what we do for a living. I know we've all likely experienced also times in life where work can just get so busy that it even becomes consuming at a point. And honestly, depending on the state of things at your job, that level of focus can be needed from time to time for a season, right? That intense focus, where that's the main thing going on, that may be exactly what's needed to help lead your team through a difficult time or a time of change. But sometimes that season becomes the standard, right? It becomes the new way that we do things for an extended period of time, even beyond what is necessary. We begin to lose touch of what we enjoy doing in life. When we enjoy doing other things outside of work, and then we stop doing them, it can cause us to actually lose connection with the people that we are supposed to be leading at work. And we kind of lose connection with ourselves. I know I've had this happen to me, where I've had times where I've kind of lost focus of the other things that I enjoy doing outside of work. So Michael Hyatt, he's the former CEO of Thomas Nelson Publishing, also owns his own company now, Michael Hyatt and Company, and great leader. And Michael Hyatt, he said this, he said, "Success is not about how much you accomplish. It's about whether you're accomplishing the right things." So you can take that in terms of work, right? Make sure we're accomplishing the right things at work. And that's how we know that we're being effective or efficient, perhaps. But when you take it to even a wider level of outside of work, it's not necessarily about how much we accomplish, it's whether we're accomplishing the right things. So if work is supposed to support the rest of our lives, what are we doing to help make sure that is what it does, right? That it supports instead of takes over our lives? Because it is easy to have any part of our life take over another part. When we're fulfilled in multiple parts of life, I find that I'm happier, right? When I have multiple parts of my life in a better balance, I'm definitely happier. And Is it ever a perfect balance? No, I don't think that they really can ever have kind of that perfect balance, which is the reason that I like to talk about work-life harmony, right? Where there's just a certain harmony that exists. And it's not always the exact amount of time spent in each part of our life all of the time. It just ebbs and flows depending on what's needed. And often we have to be intentional if one part of our life starts taking too much time. And once again, there are different seasons in life, and you're the only one that can control it for yourself. And if we're not intentional about it, it will just kind of take off and control us. But when you're thinking about having a full life outside of what you accomplish at work and accomplishing great things at home with your family, but also having time to spend on hobbies or things that you might enjoy, it's amazing how some of these small and simple things can bring so much joy and just help to complement your life and give you a more full life. Perhaps, you enjoy playing an instrument, working on puzzles or hiking, building model airplanes or cycling, whatever it might be, whatever is that thing that just gets you super excited. Or maybe that thing that used to get you super excited. And now when you think about doing it, maybe it just makes you exhausted if you think about it. It's like, gosh, I used to like doing that thing, but man, doing it now just makes me exhausted. I have so much going on. Sometimes taking that time to be intentional on your time outside of work is critical if you want it to happen. I found that I have a hard time relaxing when things are super busy at work or in another part of my life. And it just kind of consumes me. And I think, man, I can't sit here. I should be doing something else. But instead I just sit there and do something that's not worthwhile. And I'm not accomplishing more at work when I'm at home. So I have to be, once again, not to overuse that word, but be intentional about what I'm doing. So for me, I found that I often have to schedule in time to do that hobby or whatever it is. And I find that once I actually sit down and start, I'll find myself enjoying it once again. And I find that I even get more enjoyment out of it when I can do some of those things, those hobbies with my family. Not always possible, but when I can, I love to see how my kids love to be a part of the things that I love. And so for me, I like to find a way to involve them in those things and often find that they enjoy those things as well. In our quest to be great leaders, let's do our best to not forget to create a fulfilling life outside of work. We'll be happier, and I believe that we'll be better leaders at work as well by having that balance. You got this. Until next week.
Thanks for joining me on this week's episode of the Flavor of Leadership podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard, please share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast player. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback for us, you can reach me directly at flavorofleadership.com. Thanks for listening.